In this, the first quick tips video for 2023, I'm going to show you how to take your underwater GoPro footage to the next level. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Divers Ready. My name's James, as always, so great to see all of your smiling faces. In this quick tips video, the first for 2023, I'm going to show you a very simple two-click editing technique that you can use to take your GoPro underwater footage to the next level. Yes, you've got the red filter on, you've got the dive housing, you've got yourself a 4K 60 frames per second underwater camera. Now let's make that footage amazing, and we're going to do it using the Matthias Lebo, my friend and colleague, underwater LUT pack for GoPro. If you haven't checked that out already, I'll put the link to it in the description of this video below. We sell it through our merchandise store as well as all of our awesome swag. You download those files, but then what? What do you do with it? So, a little bit of an instructional video. Why don't you subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already, and we'll head to my editing suite and check it out. This is my editing suite where I edit all of our Divers Ready videos. And I've set up a timeline here with 3 clips that I took on shallow reef dives. All of recently, I've got a clip of a turtle swimming along here with a diver in the background. I've got a clip of a southern stingray enjoying its lunch. And I've got a clip here of some shallow reef scenes with a school of fish passing by some staghorn coral. Looks beautiful. Sunlight and all that gorgeous stuff. Now, straight out of GoPro, those clips already look amazing because the GoPro color science has come such a long way, and I'm using a red filter, which we've already talked about in another video. I'll link it up above there somewhere. But we can make these look a little bit better. We can get more contrast and more depth to our shots, which is definitely something that GoPros sometimes lack, by using a LUT. Now, if you've been to our merch store and you've seen our awesome swagmabilia, that's cool, but we also have a digital product on there from our friend Matthias Lebo, and that is his GoPro LUT pack for underwater color. So essentially what you're going to do is you shoot footage on your GoPro, you bring it into pretty much any editing software. I use Adobe Premiere Pro, but this will work with DaVinci Resolve, it'll work with Final Cut, any of those, and make your colors look just that little bit more extra special. And we're going to use that using the LUT files that you download. So if you go into your download files once you've made your purchase, you're going to see that you've got all of your LUT files here, which are .cube files, that's the format for a LUT, and a PDF on which ones are best used in which situation. So that's all well and good, but what is a LUT? A LUT stands for Look Up Table. Basically, it's a set of codes embedded in a file that's overlaid on a video that says, hey, if you've got this color, change it to this color. If you've got this area of shadow, make it lighter. If you've got these highlights, make them lower or higher, or so on. And you're trying to create a balanced overview or overlay of color grading in your video system. So essentially, it's like a filter. It's like when you take a photo on your phone and you add a filter to it and it says dramatic cool, and all of a sudden the video feels, or the photo feels colder, the definition might be a little bit sharper, a little bit heavier, the shadows are dragged down, the highlights are blown up a little bit, and you get a certain feel to that footage. That is what a LUT is doing. So to apply it in Premiere Pro, I'm not sure for other editing softwares because I'm not as familiar. In my situation here, I would go under the Creative tab and I would say Browse, and I would go to my Downloads folder or wherever I've stored these files in the computer, and I'd say, okay, well, I'm on a shallow reef. I've got Mr. Turtle here and I want him to look natural. So I'm just going to select that natural file and open it up. And as you can see, it's laid on pretty thick and heavy. So we don't really want it that intense because that looks cartoonish, to be honest. That's where this intensity slider comes in. So I'm going to take that intensity slider and I'm going to drag it down until I'm happy with the results. But what I can see immediately, even at the sort of ridiculous high-end intensity, is the way that this piece of reef really pops off of the image. So if I just slide that down to about, maybe let's try 60, somewhere around there. Yeah, I've got a really crisp outline of the reef. The diver feels more in the background and the turtle pops more in front of the reef. So if we just play that forwards, if I toggle it off, that's the kind of flattened image straight out of camera, and turning the LUT back on again, Much crisper, much cleaner. Very nice. Off, on. So let's go to our next image here, which is the stingray enjoying its lunch while the two yellowtails wait to mop up any of the debris hanging around here. Let's try this one with a little bit of vibrancy. So I've got this Shallow Reef Vibrant LUT file from Mr. Matthias Lebo, and you can see again it comes on super strong with the intensity, so we need to dial that down a little bit. But you can see again the depth, the divers in the background, the way that the yellowtails really pop out of the water and look really sharp and crisp there. I'm going to dial that one down probably around 40, I would imagine. Somewhere around there looks good. Let's keep going. No, that's... And it's really up to you to personal taste. I know people that get very heavy-handed with their color grading, and some people that are very subtle. I try and find a happy medium. Doesn't always work, but there we go. But yeah, about 40 looks good to me. So if we play that through again, let me turn it off. Looks pretty good straight out of camera. Looks even better with the LUT applied. Just makes it pop that bit more. So off again, and back on again. So our last shot here of the reef is kind of an interesting one because I'm shooting into the sun, which is not recommended, but sometimes you can get nice results and the fish here are kind of silhouetted. Let's give that a go in black and white. See what that looks like. See, I think that looks pretty good. Let's dial it down a little bit. You can get kind of a vintage look by applying a black and white LUT, but then fading some color back in by turning down the intensity of the black and white. Yeah, that's also given a lot more contrast to the light beams coming through the underwater caustics. Let's play that through. So I've got that about 37 intensity. That's with no color grade, and that's just toned it down a little bit and it's given it more of a vintage feel. I like that shot a lot. That looks nice. It's getting toggled off and back on. Now, my goal with showing you this is that there has never been an easier time to take images underwater. You can get a video camera, a GoPro in this case, which shoots 4K 60 frames per second, 5.3K now with the latest model, but 4K 60 frames per second and an underwater housing for under $400. There's never been a more accessible way to get underwater footage out there. If you guys go out with your GoPro and you shoot footage, I want you to be happy with that footage, I want you to be excited about it, and I want you to show your friends and family. I don't want it to live on a hard drive somewhere collecting dust in a drawer. That doesn't make sense. What I want is for you to be able to shoot content that you're proud of, that you can edit with the minimum amount of effort and the maximum amount of effectiveness, and then share that with your friends and show them all the amazing stuff that you saw on your dive, and hopefully encourage more people to get into the sport of scuba diving, because at the end of the day, that's what I'm all about. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you bring your underwater filmmaking to the next level. That's what we're all about here on Divers Ready. If you haven't done so already, make your next dive on our subscribe button down there, and I'll see you in next week's video. Dive safe, dive often.